Morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Rowe. We're looking in Geometry Part B. This is Lesson 10, and we're going to talk about the surface area of a cylinder. So again, what is a cylinder? It's a solid that has two congruent bases that are circles. So here's what one looks like. And see, there are your two congruent bases, they're both circles. The lateral area of a surface of a cylinder is a rectangle. So we'll look at that in just a second. But if you think about it, think about a can of vegetables. If you peel the label off that can of vegetables, that label is a rectangle. So let's take a look at this video just to kind of show you what we're talking about with that. All right, so there's the radius and there's the height, just like we've got. And so what we're going to do is we're going to unwrap this cylinder and show you the little pieces. So there's the radius and there's the circle. Now the circumference of that circle is 2 pi r. We got a height, and if we unwrapped that height, there is your rectangle right there. You see we got a circle, and that circle follows along the radius or along that edge. So the circumference of the circle is actually right there, is actually the length of that rectangle with the height. So we got 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. That's going to be the surface area. So the lateral area would be the area of that rectangle, which we just looked at right there. The base of the rectangle would be the circumference of that circle. We just talked about that, how that circle rolled across, all the way across the top of that rectangle. So the circumference of the circle is also one of the sides of the rectangle. So lateral area would be 2 times pi times RH. And the surface area will be the sum of that lateral area plus the sum of these two bases. And so that's 2 times pi r squared plus 2 pi RH. So there's our surface area formulas. Let's take a look at an example. So here is a rectangle, not a rectangle, a cylinder. It has a radius of 7 and a height of 15. We're going to find the lateral area and the surface area, and we're going to use 22/7 as our estimate for pi. First, we're going to find our lateral area, 2 times pi times r times h. So radius is 7. The height is 15. We're going to use 22/7 as our estimate for pi. And if you remember, we talked about this previously when we talked about circles. You'll bring out that calculator and multiply all this. So we got 2 times 22 times 7 times 15. We're multiplying all the numerators, which is all these numbers, and that's the only denominator. So that's going to equal that. We're going to divide by 7. And look, we get 660 inches squared for our lateral area. Now let's find the surface area. Well, the surface area is 2 times pi times radius squared plus that lateral area we just found. So again, we're going to use 2 times 22/7 times 7 squared. Again, pull out that calculator. Don't be afraid to use your calculator. So we got 2 times 22 times 7 squared. That's going to equal that. We're going to divide by any numerator. So divide by 7. And look at that. We got 308. Plus 660. So our surface area here for this cylinder is approximately 968 inches squared. And again, you notice all these are approximations because this is an estimate for pi, not the actual value of pi. If I tell you anything else, you leave it as just a symbol, but if I tell you what to use for pi, that's the only time you're going to actually do a calculation with pi. So let's take a look at another example. This is a cylinder. It's just turned on its side. Don't get confused by that. And one thing that's different here is that instead of giving the radius, we're told the diameter of the circle. So we're going to find the lateral area. We're going to find the surface area. So the first thing we need to know is what is the radius of that circle. Well, if the diameter is 24, then the radius is 12. So we're going to fill into our formula. Lateral area equals 2 times pi times 12 times 18. So put out that calculator. 2 times 12 is 24 times 18 is 432. And we're leaving pi as pi. So 432 pi meters squared. Find the surface area. Surface area, we're going to do 2 times pi times the radius squared. So 2 times pi times 12 squared plus that lateral area, which we just found, which was 432. So 2 times pi times 12 squared. 12 squared is 144. 144 times 2 is 288 pi. And 288 pi plus 432 pi gives us 720 pi meters squared. So actually, I think these are some of the easier surface areas to find. So here is one final example here. This is an oblique cylinder. Remember, we talked about oblique prisms in the lesson and in the prism recording, but it's the same thing. It's just a cylinder that's been kind of squished to the side a little bit. So you're going to be given this extra value here. This is not the value you need. You need the height, the distance from one base to the other base, not the length of the side. So make sure you get the right height. So we're going to find the lateral area. We're going to find the surface area. Lateral area is 2 times pi times the radius, which is 13, times the height, which is 24. Remember, this is extra information right here. Don't worry about that value. So 2 times 13 is 26. 26 times 24, 624 pi feet squared. So now we're going to find the lateral area, or the surface area. 2 times pi times the radius squared plus the lateral area. Just found that right there. So that's 2 times pi times 13 squared plus 624. So 13 squared is 169. 169 times 2 is 338. So we got 338 pi plus 624 pi, which is going to give us a total of 962 pi. So I hope this helps you find the surface area of a cylinder. It's really just a matter of filling into these two formulas and adding those values together at the end. If you struggle with this content as you're working out your assignment, please let us know in a teacher message or make an appointment for a help session.